for those of you who are familiar with the Outer Banks and possibly even the Chesapeake Bay. Meanwhile, here at home, no impacts to Erin. However, we will be dealing with showers and storms today, festering across the northeastern quadrant of the state. Therefore, temperatures may be suppressed a bit. Many areas, especially along near I-85 to the north and to the east of the city, sticking around the 80-degree plus mark, not breaking through the 90s until tomorrow. 91 for Wednesday and Thursday. Rain chances are going up for Friday into Saturday, and then backing off for the second part of the weekend. Ladies?
Okay, noted. Thank you, Jonathan. Fox 5 News at noon is just about an hour away, so here's a look at what's to come. Heisman Trophy winner and former Westlake High School standout Cam Newton will have his jersey retired this fall. When and where the prestigious honor will be held. And forget chasing mice, black cats are now apparently chasing hearts. We'll introduce you to the new trend that's gaining popularity among Gen Z.
Thanks so much for joining us for Good Day Atlanta. Sherry is coming up next.
Stay connected to Fox 5 around the clock. We're live streaming throughout the day on our website, fox5atlanta.com. We're on Fox Local for your smartphones and streaming devices, and we are also on the Fox 5 Radio 1 network at 107.9 HD2 FM.
And you're welcome to follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And I really do hope to see you right back here for Fox 5 News at noon. It starts in 1 hour, followed by Portia at 1. Have a terrific Tuesday, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same couch.
Well, welcome in. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We have a busy Tuesday morning to get to. We are following breaking news in Gwinnett County. And I want to start us off at an apartment complex there, the Club Lakes Parkway, or a fire there on Club Lakes Parkway. We know our Caitlin Pratt has just been gathering the latest, and we're going to get to her in just a second. You can see smoke. I want to show you aerial footage of our helicopter that's flying over that apartment complex. Now, when looking at this, you can see the smoke, not nearly as black as it was just moments ago, but it is just incredible damage. The charred roof, the upper story of that apartment complex just gutted. You can see the ladder truck there on scene as crews are working to fight this damage. And I want to switch in and see if we can talk to our Caitlin. It looks like she is standing by and ready to go. So as we continue to follow this, we're going to be checking in with Chopper in just a little bit. But for now, Caitlin just wrapped up a news conference where she was speaking with fire leaders there in Gwinnett County. So Caitlin, I heard, we just learned, it sounds like one firefighter is hurt. What can you tell us?
Yes, good morning to you, Ariel. That's for sure. We just wrapped up that conversation with the public information officer with Gwinnett County Fire, and I'm so sorry. There's a lot of action around me. There's choppers up in the sky and crews behind me, but so bear with me as far as the noise goes. But yes, one firefighter hurt as a result of a partial collapse of the structure that crews were fighting fire at earlier this morning. Also, a resident, we're told, suffering minor injuries as well. As far as the circumstances regarding those injuries, that's unclear, but both of them are at the hospital right now. Let's rewind a little bit to earlier this morning, the call coming in just before 9 o'clock, according to fire investigators. I do have some video I hope we can show you of that fire scene. We're here at the complex entrance here in Lawrenceville. I was able to get up closer and get a look at some of the firefight happening. But this all began just before 9 o'clock this morning, and when fire crews arrived, according to investigators at this point, they were able to get people out to make evacuations. It's unclear how many people were home at the time, it of course being a weekday, a lot of people already at work or school, but yes, there were some people still inside one of those buildings. They had to be evacuated as firefighters moved in to try and extinguish that danger. Now, as they were doing so, part of the second story, according to fire investigators, just collapsed, and that of course resulting in that one firefighter's injuries. They retreated and then brought in 2 ladders so that they could fight from above, pour water on those flames. I was down there. It looks like those flames have been contained, but of course that smoke continuing to pour up into the sky. It was quite a substantial fire. When I got off the Highway 85 at Pleasant Mill, you could see those smoke plumes up in the sky, so I almost didn't have to use my navigation device to get here. I could just follow where the smoke was. At this point, a lot of residents standing around waiting for what's next. We asked the PIO how many people affected in all of this, in this emergency. That's unclear right now, she said, but they're working to get more information, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you more information about how they're going to be getting help, because one thing is for sure, that building is just no longer livable for anyone on any story. The fire cause, of course, not even there at this point. They're just trying to knock down those remaining hot spots and make sure that nothing spreads to any nearby buildings. So yeah, still an active scene in this area, residents being held back. So I think it's going to be quite busy here for quite some time. Ariel?
It's incredible. You've been out tracking the latest, and as you've been explaining the situation, we've also been taking a look at chopper VO and able to see just the extent of that damage. Our coworkers who were coming into work this morning were also telling us about some of what you were seeing, the black plumes of smoke in the air. I know that that firefighter is receiving medical care, and you said that a resident had minor injuries as well. So absolutely busy scene behind you. Thank you so much for keeping us up to date. I'm continuing to talk with you for just a little bit because I want to see if we maybe have the news conference from those fire officials that you were just speaking with. But we may come back to that in just a little bit. But Caitlin, thank you so much for keeping us up to date and the latest on the scene there. As a final question to you, with the fire, they're still working to put out hotspots. Is that correct?
Yes, and as we know, it's August in Georgia, right? It's hot, and they have all their equipment on and everything. So what I've been seeing is that they're alternating with that firefight. They're taking breaks, making sure they have enough water, stuff of that nature. So I see multiple crews kind of taking turns to pour water on those flames at this point. It's so sticky out here. It's so hot. And this is me without a fire uniform on, right? And all the equipment carrying. So really feeling for them and appreciative of their firefight, that's for sure, here in Gwinnett County today.
Caitlin, thank you so much for keeping us up to date. We really appreciate it. I'm going to let you go ahead and go gather some more information. Thank you so much for all of your hard work and keeping us informed of the situation there. So, guys, I do want to keep you up to date that as Caitlin works to gather more information, we were just listening to that news conference from the fire official there in Gwinnett County. I want to go ahead and listen in on it so you get kind of a fuller picture as to what was happening.
This morning, firefighters responded to a fire at an apartment complex at Oxford Apartments at 1406 Club Lakes Parkway in Lawrenceville. Upon arrival, firefighters arrived at approximately 8:58 a.m. to heavy fire involvement on the second story of the apartment complex. Firefighters initiated an aggressive attack with 2 hand lines initially to extinguish the fire. While they were extinguishing the fire, they had roof collapse onto the second floor, from the roof onto the second floor. We backed out all the firefighters at that time to a defensive mode of operation, and we raised 2 ladder trucks to make sure that we extinguished the flames at that point. At approximately 9:32, we had control of the fire at that time at 9:32 a.m. At this time, we have a total of 10 fire units that are involved in fire damage for the entire apartment building. We are unsure at this time of the amount of individuals that were affected at this time, but we're still gathering that information as we speak. Upon fire, upon fire operations, we had one firefighter who was injured and transported to a local hospital. We also additionally had one occupant of the structure injured and also transported to a local hospital. At this time, we are no other injuries at this time, but we're still navigating that as we speak. Fire operations are still ongoing, and we are just taking it in stride. So, any questions?
How many people did anyone have to be rescued? How many people had to flee the building?
That number is unknown at this time. They're still gathering that information on the exact number of individuals that were in the structure at that time. But we do know that there were people, yes, inside the structure at the time of the fire. We just don't have that exact number. Firefighters did evacuate multiple individuals, as well.
Can you talk about how dangerous it is when the roof starts falling and firefighters are still inside?
Sure. So any fire operations that we're operating in is we are always evaluating that structure at all times, because every 30 seconds that fire is underway. That structure is collapsing or is degrading in time as time rolls on. So it is very, very severe. Very roof collapse is very dangerous and something that we don't play with as firefighters. So that is why we backed everybody out, because if we're not there to fight fire, then we can't help the people that need help. So we make sure that we're safe as well.
Thanks, Lieutenant.
Sure.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry, do you have any clarity on the injury? You said the firefighter or resident, or those burns? Is that smoke?
Just minor injuries at this time, from what I can gather. So as far as specifics, I don't have those specifics right now. But that is, yes, they're both minor injuries at this time.
You were just listening to the Gwinnett County Public Information Officer for the Fire Department. You could hear her visibly emotional, see her emotional, hear that in her voice as a colleague and fellow firefighter was rushed to the hospital. We are working to gather more information as to how that firefighter is doing as they work to fight this apartment fire. Again, this unfolding in Gwinnett County this morning. We'll continue to keep you updated, but it was at an apartment complex on Club Lakes Parkway. Roof collapse and other issues, a big concern in fighting this fire, and we'll continue to keep you updated. But I do want to let you know of some other news that we are tracking here in the Fox 5 newsroom. And a big story out of Carroll County. We know that a bond hearing was set this morning for a 17-year-old accused of murdering her mother and her stepfather. Our Kevin Stewart has been following the latest from the courtroom. I see Kevin standing by, and I know that he just got out of the courtroom where this bond hearing wrapped up. So I want to see, Kevin, what did you learn from the courtroom? What's the latest?
Yeah, about 40 minutes ago, the judge here decided that there will be no bond granted for Sarah Grace Patrick, the 17-year-old accused of killing her mother and stepfather, shooting them to death back in February. She was arrested back on July 8th and has been in solitary confinement at the Carroll County Jail, not too far here from the Carroll County Courthouse, since that day because of her age. I want you to take a look inside the courtroom this morning. We heard about 10 witnesses, most of them who are arguing for the teen to be granted bond. We had a chance to listen to several witnesses, including one who is a family friend who's known her since she was in middle school, and another witness who is arguing that she not be granted bond was actually a family member, her aunt. Take a listen.
Just typical teenager stuff. Typical teenager stuff. Sarah has a huge heart. She is loving, protective, and deeply rooted in her faith. She has always expressed a strong, She has always expressed a strong desire to work in the radiology field and has never been afraid of hard work. Hurting someone simply isn't in her nature or character.
I not only lost my brother, but also my sister-in-law in the most horrific way imaginable. Every night I lay awake, unable to sleep, haunted by the thought of what my brother Jamie and Kristen might have experienced in those final moments. With the possibility that they were awake when the defendant entered their room with a gun. And I imagine their terror in their final breaths.
All right, now we understand that this case will be going to a grand jury today for an indictment. If that indictment does come down this week, we understand that the earliest we could see a trial is the beginning of the new year in January. Ariel?
Story. Thank you so much for your work on this. I can't imagine what the family is going through, and to hear how different family members may have different perspectives in all of this. As you continue to make sense of this case, are there any big questions you're still trying to figure out as the reporter as we watch this unfold?
Well, one of the unique things about this trial, this case, I should say, is that you recall maybe about a month or two ago, I had a chance to speak to the grandfather who is supporting Sarah Grace Patrick, saying that she's innocent until proven guilty. And what you do have here is a family divided here. You have the Brock side of the family who is clearly not in support of the young family member. In fact, the three witnesses who testified today for no bond were family members. We did not have any family members from the mom's side of the family testify today, but clearly you began to see a very sharp divide in the courtroom this morning. Ariel?
Well, my heart absolutely goes out to them. Thank you for making sense of that for us. I'm going to go ahead and let you get back to the courtroom. I have some more questions we can discuss as we continue our news throughout the day. But for now, thank you so much, Kevin, for your hard work on this case. Guys, I want to let you know about another story that we've been following here in our newsroom, and this involves making sure that we are prepared for emergencies at all of our sporting stadiums. So one of the big things that leaders are looking at is whether or not some of the major sporting arenas here around Atlanta are prepared, and our Chris Rosenthal actually went out to Mercedes-Benz Stadium where a drill was conducted. Chris, great to see you. Tell me a little bit about what happened today at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see they're still behind me here. The Atlanta Gas Light has held this drill, this emergency drill, along with Atlanta Fire, Atlanta Police, and other officials. Basically go over what if there is some sort of a gas leak, some sort of an emergency, some sort of a problem. They were, in fact, just a few minutes ago, they were testing, doing a practice drill on how to close the gas valves. Wasn't able to actually film that because for security reasons. This is obviously important. Gas is dangerous. This building behind me, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it does run on gas, and if there's any problems, that could be a bad thing with big crowds. And I spoke with representatives from Atlanta Gas Light about, what sort of emergencies could happen and why this is important. Let's take a listen.
I get we had breaking news off the top. As we were going through this, you were looking ahead to some of the safety preparedness measures. I know we were talking about this a little bit before in our newsroom. Are they making sure, what kind of situations, you were talking about some of the situations they were preparing for, but wondering if you can go a little bit more in depth as to how this would help us if I'm at a concert or attending an event at Mercedes-Benz, maybe a football game. How does this help keep me safe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anything could happen. It could be, as simple as there being a gas line cut intentionally or unintentionally. It could be something, as serious as a terrorist attack. These are the kind of things they're trying to prepare for, because any sort of a gas leak could be potentially very dangerous, especially in a big crowded building like Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We know lots of events, Falcons games, Atlanta United games, and FIFA World Cup coming up next year. So, they're out here just trying to make sure that they're ready and that they're coordinated with all the different departments in case something happens. Another point they wanted me to get across, if you're trying to dig at your home or in your area, check with 811. Make sure that there are no underground power lines, gas lines, anything that could cause a serious leak or problem, a safety issue for you.
Chris, great to know. I think just even this information, if it helps just one person, will have done our jobs, because it's something that can seem so simple on the surface, but have such big ramifications, and we want to make sure that we stay safe. I do know, Chris, you were able to speak with someone at Gaslight there at the stadium. I think we have that interview you did with her. Do you want to listen to it now, or do you have some stuff you want to discuss first?
Sure.
Okay, all right, let's see if we can listen to what she had to say.
What does that look like? A gas leak? Does it look like a terrorist attack, or is it a variety of things? What are we talking about here?
Today we're focused on if gas service was interrupted, possibly by a cut main, by someone digging into it, things like that. That's the type of disaster we'll be simulating, and what the response would be between all of the parties, and making sure that everybody is prepared and knows what role they play in that response.
How dangerous could something like that be?
Well, we believe safety is our #1 value of our community, of our pipelines, and of our employees. So for us, we believe that if the right response, it is not dangerous, but our response and quick response is what keeps down and makes sure that things do not get into an emergency situation or a dangerous situation.
And that's a big building, a lot of people, lots of events. Does that make it even more important?
Yes, I think over the next 18 months, the city of Atlanta and Georgia, in fact, is going to have millions of visitors here for different events. I mean, look what happened with the Beyonce concert. So all of those things are important, and we want to make sure that we protect the public by ensuring a very quick and fast response and keeping our system safe, but more importantly, partnering with the fire department, with the police departments, if we have to block traffic to make sure we can make a repair, things of that nature. So we'll be practicing that today.
And what does it look like? What does the response look like if there's a problem?
So if there's a problem, many times we will get a 911 call into our call center, and then we then dispatch our teams to go there to assess the situation, cut off the natural gas, if someone has damaged one of our lines, and then also at the same time we're partnering with the fire department, who would be called when 911. So that's that joint response that we would have, and we would dispatch those teams, and they would make the repair and make it safe for all of the attendees.
Yeah, safe for all the attendees. That's the mission here today.
Chris, yeah, thank you so much for giving us a look. I'm going to let you continue to news gather. Thank you so much for telling us this information and letting us know how we can keep ourselves safe, both at Mercedes-Benz and at home. So, y'all, it is about that time. We have some more news coming up for you. And one of the big stories we're going to be tracking is Mayor Andre Dickens qualifying for his re-election bid. We're going to break down what that means, take a look at some of the other candidates in the race. And we also know more about the vice president's visit here coming to the city of Metro Atlanta area. We're going to break that down for you coming up next, let you know where he's headed and what potential areas you may want to avoid in case of traffic. So we'll see you in just a little bit. Well, welcome in. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thank you so much for streaming along with us on your Tuesday morning. We've had a busy day of news, and the news continues. One of the stories that we're following here in our newsroom involves the mayor's race in the city of Atlanta. And we know that Mayor Andre Dickens, of course, is wanting to once again be Atlanta's mayor. Our Angelique Proctor was out earlier this morning catching up with the mayor, where we're learning more about his qualification for his re-election bid. Angelique, let's see if we can bring you in really quickly. It is great to see you. Tell me a little bit more about what happened this morning.
Well, good afternoon, or good morning, shall I say, to you, Ariel. Yeah, it was a very exciting morning as the 61st mayor of Atlanta actually officially filed his paperwork inside City Hall. He came right outside to a very jovial, exciting, and supportive crowd that included his mother as well as his sister and a whole lot of supporters. And he said, declared to all of us that Atlanta's group project is working. Let's take a look at some of the video from this morning. Now, the mayor says he's got a long list of accomplishments. He says that he has already built 11,000 units of affordable housing here in the city that he is very proud of. He says that he has reduced crime significantly, that he's expanded green space, lots more parks, and he says that he is addressing income inequities. Now, Mayor Dickens says he has moved Atlanta forward, and the great thing that he is excited about is that several people around the nation have noticed. Take a listen.
On the city of Atlanta, we've made sure that people took notice. Over the past 3 years, Money Magazine said Atlanta is the best place in the country to live. Bloomberg said Atlanta has more going for us than any other city in America. Black Enterprise, Home Bay, and LinkedIn all said we are the best place in the country to start a business. Wallet Hub and others said that we're the best place to start a career. Forbes even said that we are the most educated city in America. And we still run the world's busiest and most efficient airport.
Good morning. Now, the mayor also appointed, of course, the opening of the Public Safety Training Center. That was a bit controversial, but it is now open and operational. He's very proud of that. He also says that he's been working on our very aging infrastructure. We all remember all of the water main breaks that we had, and he says that he is busy addressing that for what he hopes to address during his next administration. He also said that the city is going to be welcoming the world with the FIFA World Cup, and with crime being down, he says we are ready for that. But he did talk about one area where he believes there are some challenges, and that is transportation. And he pointed his finger squarely at MARTA. Take a listen to that.
We need MARTA to be better. MARTA is an authority that is controlled by Fulton County, DeKalb County, Clayton County, and the city of Atlanta. We are headed in the right direction, getting new leadership on the way for MARTA. We need a world-class leader for this system to operate like a world-class system. People got to get to where they're going. They got to get to work, they got to get to school, they got to get to doctor's appointments, they got to get to entertainment venues. And what's happening is there's a reliability challenge that MARTA doesn't always meet the time and expectations of the rider in terms of safety, et cetera. So I'm going to be extremely bold and pushy as it comes to MARTA needing to step up to the plate.
And the mayor says he is Atlanta through and through. He talked about being a native Atlantan, a product of the Atlanta public school system. And of course, he attended Georgia Tech. He says that he had a really challenging time when he came into office 4 years ago because we were still on the heels of the pandemic, and he had to get all of City Hall employees back into the building. He said he did that successfully. He also says there was a group that was trying to succeed from Atlanta and start its own city with Buckhead. He had to work through that. So he says he's really navigated through some really intense challenges and brought everybody together. So he believes that is his argument for another 4 years.
It's incredible to think of all of the events that have happened during his term. And again, as we look ahead to what's in the future, I could imagine that MARTA would be something that the mayor is focused on. I know with the World Cup and some other big events coming, he wants to make sure our public transit has a good reputation and people feel comfortable using it. So sounds like it was an exciting morning. Any big questions that you have outstanding as a reporter covering this case? Anything that you're still working to figure out?
Well, you always hear that crime is down, but perception is reality. And so we've had just a string of violent shootings here during the summer. And that's really still on everybody's mind. And so even though the data may say that crime is down, how do people feel? And particularly with us hosting the World Cup, safety and public safety is going to be at the top of mind for everyone. And so that's going to be an area that I think the mayor is still going to have to revisit as he attempts to run for this second term.
Angelique, thank you so much. I think you've hit on a point I've heard a lot of people say. I've seen that discussion happen on social media. People, of course, want to make sure that the perception matches the reality. So, Angelique, thank you so much for this. We appreciate it. As we continue to look at Atlanta's mayor's race, I do want to mention some of the other candidates in the race and others that want your vote to become Atlanta's next top leader. And I'm going to read to you some of those candidates now. I want to make sure I get their names right. So other candidates in this race for mayor include Walter Reeves, Marcus Lamar, Helmut Domolgowski, Kalima Jackson, Larmetria Trammell, and Eddie Meredith. Again, all candidates hoping to earn your vote and running against Mayor Andre Dickens as he seeks re-election. We'll continue to keep you updated on the mayor's race. But as we look nationally and continue to look at the elections process and midterms that are coming up in the next year, I want to keep you updated at a discussion that's happening in the White House and, of course, how it's affecting us here in Georgia. And that deals with mail-in voting. So we know that President Trump wants to end mail-in voting. He says work is already underway on an executive order to ban it before the 2026 midterm elections. Now, he actually posted on Truth Social, and you can see some of that post here of what he said. Trump commented on mail-in ballots during an Oval Office meeting when he was meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. That was actually yesterday, and during that meeting, Trump suggested that mail-in ballots are corrupt and susceptible to voter fraud. You can see some of his concerns here in his post on Truth Social. One thing that has been discussed, the Constitution does not grant a president power to end mail-in voting, but it is something that President Trump is pursuing. And I want to make sure that you can listen to a little bit about what the president had to say regarding this discussion.
As a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt.
So that's the discussion that's happening nationally, and that's what President Trump wants to do. How is it affecting us here in Georgia? Well, our Secretary of State, Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, weighed in on this, and he wants to reaffirm trust in the mail-in voting process. Raffensperger says Georgia's elections, including mail-in ballots, are among the most secure in the country. And one of the big ways that Georgia's entering into this discussion, as you may remember, Georgia's been a big focal point for election conspiracies and complaints and claims of voter fraud. So Georgia lawmakers are also considering changes to our state's election laws. As a matter of fact, study committees are actually preparing reports for the upcoming legislative session to explore this issue further and what changes may happen. But in the meantime, as these discussions are continuing, Raffensperger says Georgia is committed to the trustworthiness of its election process. So we'll continue to keep you updated on that discussion. I do want to let you guys know that as we continue to follow the latest, we know that we just got an information into our newsroom a little bit before we came on, and it deals with Vice President J.D. Vance coming to visit the city of Atlanta. And we know that Vice President Vance is actually going to visit Metro Atlanta Thursday. He's going to Peachtree City. The big goal is to promote President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. We expect Vance to meet with local officials and residents there in Peachtree City, and he's going to discuss the economic impact of Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill here in Georgia. The trip is believed to be part of a broader campaign to frame the tax bill as a signature achievement and how it's affecting and thus benefiting everyday Americans. Now, we still don't know where Vice President Vance is going to go within Peachtree City, and we don't know the time frame just yet. We do know this is happening Thursday, and as soon as we get more information on it, of course, we're going to update you on Fox Local and send that alert right to your phones. Keep in mind, you live in Peachtree City. The traffic where this could be held may be problematic. So again, as soon as we learn more details, we'll give you that heads up so you can plan your day Thursday. I do want to continue along here as we follow a local race in South Fulton because there has been a bit of a shakeup in the mayor's race there. Incumbent Mayor Khalid Kamal has actually changed his mind. He recently announced his plans to seek re-election. And you may remember, he publicly stated he would step down. His first term has been rocked by controversy, including audits due to accusations of spending thousands of dollars in unauthorized expenditures and a criminal trespass charge. Now, Kamal is touting the budget growth that he's handled in his administration. He's also talked about new public safety projects as key achievements during his first term. His challenger, on the other hand, Councilmember Carmelita Gumbs, says she plans to focus more on public safety, transparency, fiscal responsibility, and smart growth for the city. I've listened to her speak to us, and one of the things that she's focused on, and I've heard her say this, is that she wants to get away from the drama of what happens with city council, and she wants to focus a little bit more on running city government. And so she says if she would be elected, and actually this is if she would be elected, she would be South Fulton's first woman mayor. So another race we're keeping our eye on, and we'll continue to keep you updated as we follow the latest here. Congressman Mike Collins, another running that we know picked up an endorsement from the family of Laken Riley. You may remember Laken Riley was the nursing student found murdered on UGA's campus by an immigrant who is here in the United States illegally. And he's hosting a kickoff event out in Jackson later today for his Senate campaign. Again, Mike Collins running for the Senate, and he's running against Congressman Buddy Carter and former Tennessee football coach Derek Dooley for that Republican nomination. He's hoping to replace incumbent Democratic Senator John Ossoff. So that's the seat these candidates are running for. And if you want to know more about the candidates, who they're running, what position they're running for, their platform, what they stand for, we have a full list on fox5atlanta.com, and you can check that for the latest information. I do want to let you guys know, if you are streaming along with us, I'm checking our YouTube, just looking through it just now to see if you have any questions on the topics that we have been covering here this morning. It is great to have you on our Tuesday. It has been a very busy Tuesday morning, and coming up, I think we're going to get a check of our weather on the other side of this break, but we do want to make sure that we check in with you guys and let you know what to expect. It's a little hot and humid, but I'm told that relief is on the way, so we're going to get to that coming up next. Well, welcome back. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thank you so much for streaming along with us here on your Tuesday morning. If you have stepped outside, you know how sticky it may feel. And I have been told that relief is on the way. Meteorologist Jonathan Stacy was talking to me yesterday. We were getting a little nerdy, Jonathan, about a wedge pattern that is incoming, hoping to potentially bring some relief. But looking behind you there, it kind of looks like we have a clear and calm radar situation going on.
And maybe it was oversold yesterday, Ariel.
Oh, no.
The wedge, I will coin this as a mini wedge. It's not a strong wedge. We're not going to see an extreme difference in temperatures from northeast to southwest. Maybe a few degrees.
Okay. I will take a few degrees.
But we'll take what we can get. The humidity is not being held back today by any degree.
No.
As we take a look at Fox 5 Live Viper radar, there are a couple showers along the Fannin-Gilmer County line, then a couple showers there in Union County, mainly for the north and eastern facing ridges. We basically have moisture that's flowing in, that wedge pattern, winds coming in out of the north, running up the mountains, not really making it all the way over the mountain. Therefore, you have some cells that are just kind of festering and hovering in place as a result of the air starting to rise and then eventually fall in the way of showers. So you'll find that this will be a common pattern as we go throughout the afternoon into maybe even the early evening hours across the mountains of northeast and north central Georgia. So by 3 o'clock, it still appears that storms continue to fester anywhere from Carter's Lake, I-75, all the way out to 411, I-85 in the conversation. I think Hart, Stevens counties, Franklin, will likely be drier than our northernmost counties. Nonetheless, even for Gordon and Pickens County, as you get into the afternoon and evening hours, you'll be dealing with some heavier downpours. We could see a few downpours roll over Lake Lanier as well as you get into the 6 p.m. period. But the fair share of the fanfare to any degree is going to be mainly to the north of the Atlanta metro area for today. So when we talk about rainfall amounts, they're fairly meager. We'll look for the green here, and basically what this suggests is that there will be some areas that get a pretty steady bout of rainfall like we were looking at along the Gilmer and Fannin County line. But by and large, most communities are going to get less than an inch, especially across northeast Georgia as we get deeper into the day. It's basically a collection. So you'll have a cell move through, may hang out for an hour, dry off for a little bit, then another cell comes through within the next couple of hours. There is a slight risk for flooding, namely flash flooding, where those cells decide to train. The steering winds are not that fast today, so the cells are going to move along fairly slowly. So there could be isolated pockets that end up having to deal with really kind of intermittent flash flood issues. Overall, the threats are low for today. Taking you out to Hartsville-Jackson International, it looks good there. Plenty of blue skies. You can see that the wedge is not really taking over our communities to the south and to the west of the city, and this is an example of that. Current temperature is 85 degrees. The dew point standing tall at 73 degrees. No relief there. So let's look at our high temperatures for today across the area. I'm going to go ahead and make that high for Atlanta, 90 degrees. We will be able to get there, and we may possibly exceed it. Once again, the wedge is not as strong as we'd like it to be to have a noticeable cool down, but where you will find the cooler temperatures are in places like Dahlonega, 86 degrees, 87 there in Blue Ridge, 85 for Blairsville, and then 90s are going to run up the mercury scale as you look out to Rome and Cedartown at 94 degrees, 90 in Douglasville. Go down south and you'll find that 90s are going to be in store from Peachtree City all the way down to Greenville, Meriwether County, and even out east. I think most communities like Monticello, Eaton, tapping 91, 92, possibly even 93, but the numbers may be held back as you get into Athens and Lexington and Greensboro. Temperatures around 88 degrees with humidity values in terms of dew points still at 70 degrees. It's going to feel like it's in the 90s even if the mercury does not read 90 degrees. In terms of the temperature at this hour, you can see the numbers once again are numbers as you look out to the south and to the west are running around 80, 85 plus. In terms of today, we'll look for partly cloudy skies here in the city, a 40% shot at storms and showers. That easterly wind is large and in charge across northeast Georgia. Now let's check in on the tropics. Hurricane Erin continues to brew and bask in the waters of the Atlantic, pretty close to the Bahamas there, but you can see some dry air trying to mix in here. So we have a weaker storm than we even had at last check. We have winds sustained at 105 miles an hour. This is getting really close to the Category 1 portion, but here's the deal. There's some wind shear that's right off coast here. So we're going to have to watch it here. It's still maintaining its status as a Cat 2, but there's a little bit of wind shear that is trying to mess with the storm's progression. But don't sleep on it. Look at what starts to happen, Ariel.
Yeah.
Okay, Category 2. It keeps its act together. It holds itself together. Maybe becoming a Cat 3 again. We'll see as it brushes past the coast of the Carolinas. And as we get ready to send it back to you, Ariel, we're going to have to watch the coast of the Carolinas, specifically from the coastal plain all the way up into the Outer Banks and possibly even the southern Chesapeake Bay, because that's the area that could get basically whiplash with some tropical storm force winds in excess of 39 miles an hour. Over the next, we actually got some new information in right here, over the next 48 to 72-hour period. Let's check on this. We have a tropical storm watch that's in effect really for the northernmost Outer Banks going all the way up to Chesapeake Bay, Virginia, and eventually Maryland, Delaware. But then it looks like we now have a hurricane watch that's in effect. Well, this is tropical storm warning, okay? So you can see it right here from Nags Head that takes you all the way down just to the north there of Wilmington. So Jacksonville areas offshore included in that. So we'll be watching this area, particularly over the next 72-hour period. The big concern there is even not just in the winds, because the winds once again will be like whiplash. They'll be getting in on the literally the far western side of the storm, but it will be what those winds do over a sustained period of time. And that pushes water inland, and that is known as storm surge. And so in some cases, we have some storm surge forecasts calling for up to 6 feet. I think that's a bit much at this moment, but I will say 2 to 3 feet of storm surge can't be ruled out, especially when you look at the tides in that region. So I have some gadgets as we send it back to you, Ariel. I'm going to play with my gadgets just to kind of show you exactly what I am looking at this point in time. So it's these areas here. And I know many times we have people in our neck of the woods here in Atlanta and across the state of Georgia who like to vacation out along this region. So you may be familiar to a degree. But hopefully you're not vacationing this week because it's not the week to be in Eastern North Carolina.
Jonathan, thank you so much for breaking this down for us. Definitely something to keep our eye on, make sure that we stay safe. So, Jonathan, thank you. I'm going to let you go ahead and continue to get ready as we wait for our news to continue at noon. I want to keep you guys up to date about an event that Fulton County leaders are holding because they want to make sure our seniors are protected when it comes to cybersecurity and make sure they don't fall victim to scams. Our Brooke Zahner has actually been out at that event, and she joins us live now. Brooke, you were able to catch up with leaders and get a feel for what was happening this morning. Tell me a little bit more about what unfolded.
Yeah, good morning to you. This just wrapped up about 15-20 minutes ago, and certainly very important if we all have seniors in our lives, grandparents, friends, neighbors, family, and this is something that we've talked about in recent years as these uptick in scams, specifically targeting seniors, have been on the rise for some time, and of course seniors are very vulnerable to these scams. So what's happening here is Fulton County is launching a free self-paced training initiative for Fulton County residents. This is for people ages 55 and older. It's designed to help basically just seniors protect themselves against the danger of online scam. It teaches them how to recognize phishing attempts, fraud, basically staying safe in this digital world. So this is going to be free, self-paced training so seniors can learn at their own speed. There's an easy to follow format that's designed for seniors, identifying those phishing scams, learning how to recognize suspicious emails, texts, phone calls, before they cause some harm. And then of course protecting personal information is learning about best practices for securing your personal details, banking info, passwords, things of that nature. So according to Fulton County Senior Services, they say they're committed to enhancing the health, independence, and well-being of seniors. They have a goal of training 2,000 seniors and caregivers by December of 2025. So that's a lot of seniors that they're hoping to target and get trained on this. There is more information. I want to make sure that we give this website out if we've got anybody that's listening or watching that wants this information. It is www.fultoncountygA.gov/cybersecurity for seniors. You can also call the Fulton County Senior Services Star Line if you're interested in learning a little bit more about this. But we did hear from Fulton County Chairman Rob Pitts. We also heard from a commissioner as well, just talking about the importance of making sure that seniors know what to look out for, know how to protect themselves, especially in this day of a very digital age, where you can certainly fall victim to some of these cyber scam-related crimes. So that was the overview here. I don't know if we had a chance to pull some of the sound from the press conference that was going on, and if we don't, that's okay. But yeah, that just wrapped up again about 15 or 20 minutes ago, where they were just giving these seniors an opportunity to ask their questions and to learn more, and then of course to learn how to enroll in this free program.
Yeah, Brooke, we don't have that just yet. We'll be continuing to follow up on it. I'm going to continue to check in with you about that information in just a little bit. I know that as we continue to track the latest, you're going to keep us up to date because it is a huge concern for so many of our seniors. We follow these news stories every day where our seniors are dealing with these crimes, and we want to make sure that we can keep them informed. So thank you so much for your hard work on this story. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and bring you back in here for just a little bit. We're going to get to some breaking news as we continue to follow the latest on an apartment fire in Gwinnett County. We're going to go ahead and check in, it looks like, with our Kim Leffler in just a little bit. That's coming up next. I want to let you guys know what to expect. We're going to have that for you in just a couple minutes. Welcome back. I'm Ariel Onstad, and I wanted to continue keeping you guys up to date on a breaking news situation we are tracking in Gwinnett County. Our Kim Leffler is out at the scene of an apartment fire. We know it has sent one firefighter to the hospital. And Kim Leffler, I know we have about 3 minutes here before we transition into our next hour of news. What can you tell us?
Well, the apartment complex has asked us to step off of the property here, so you can't really see the fire from where we are right now. But we know fire crews got this fire under control around 9:30 this morning, and since then we've seen one fire truck leave the complex here, as well as a fire investigator's car as well. We've also seen Red Cross head into the complex back a little bit where that fire occurred earlier. But we do have a little bit of video from the ground here that we were able to get earlier this morning. We know one firefighter and one individual was injured in this fire as well, and we're told fire crews were inside the building fighting the fire, and that's when the roof there collapsed and they got all the firefighters out for their safety. We're told that's actually how the firefighter was injured while fighting this fire. They used ladder trucks to get that fire under control. Right now we know 10 units were affected. We don't know exactly how many people were impacted by this fire. Of course, we're going to be working to get that information for you a little later on today. Now, I don't know if we have any sound from the fire public information officer that we spoke to a little bit ago, but if we do, take a listen to what she had to say about firefighters' response here.
At approximately 8:53 a.m. this morning, firefighters responded to a fire at an apartment complex at Oxford Apartments at 1406 Club Lakes Parkway in Lawrenceville. Upon arrival, firefighters arrived at approximately 8:58 a.m. to heavy fire involvement on the second story of the apartment complex. Firefighters initiated an aggressive attack with two hand lines initially to extinguish the fire. While they were extinguishing the fire, they had roof collapse onto the second floor, from the roof onto the second floor. We backed out all the firefighters at that time to a defensive mode of operation, and we raised two ladder trucks to make sure that we extinguished the flames at that point. At approximately 9:32, we had control of the fire at that time at 9:32 a.m. At this time, we have a total of 10 fire units that are involved in fire damage for the entire apartment building.
Again, one person and one firefighter injured in this fire. Of course, we will keep you updated as soon as we learn exactly how many people were displaced by this. Ariel.
Hard work, and absolutely we're going to follow up on the latest on how that firefighter is doing and the resident who is hurt in all of this too. So Cam, I'm going to let you get back to work. Thank you so much for coming on and updating us as to what's happening. You guys, this is a story that we'll be following throughout the rest of our afternoon. We know that a large apartment complex, again, as you just heard, in Gwinnett County, multiple people displaced. The entire roof of that apartment building collapsed, and that's part of what hurt that firefighter and sent them to the hospital. Very scary situation for firefighters, and something that they monitor and are a big reason why they pulled everyone back. We'll continue to keep you updated on this, and our news continues at noon coming up.